Howdy, this is Chris Decato with another Pro Tools session, poke around, walk through, whatever you want to call it. I'm not quite sure what these videos are. They're kind of fun to make, a little bit tricky. My computer kind of wants to explode. This seems like.
We all live in evil times.
Yeah, so this is Eric Ott from his new record, Freeway UFOs.
We all live in evil times.
And this is Evil Times, obviously, since you clicked on the video.
Take this message and pass it on down the line. We all live in evil times.
Yeah, so Eric's a really awesome dude, very funny, and great songwriter. Got some great ideas, and it was a lot of fun working with him on this record. We kind of did a bunch of songs over the winter into the spring, maybe, and yeah, it was a gas. I had a super fun time working on these with him, and really proud of how it came out. So I kind of want to share that a little bit. I'm not really sure what these videos are about, but it's just kind of fun to kind of poke around and kind of show how things got done a little bit. And in this one, I'm probably going to, talk about drum EQ and stuff a little more than I might do a couple of the other songs too. And we're all just going to skim over that stuff. But my favorite part, and the thing I want to get to is listening to the song. We'll kind of listen to the end of the song maybe with an alternate kind of mix with, mute at the drums and mute this, mute that, and just listen to these things, whatever. There's a ton of vocals and stuff. This big stack of all these tracks we're looking at are all vocals. And the reason why my computer's kind of choky while I'm doing this is all these plugins running in real time. Mostly on the vocals, there's tons of processing on them, but there's also this is his original guitar track he sent down, and there's this fuzz track here, which gave me a pretty clear idea of where he wanted to go with the song. And so, but we'll get to that in a second. So the first thing that I did was replace that acoustic, and there's this slight dynamic change that happened that I was hearing kind of in the verses. So I didn't play it exactly the way he was doing it. I was just kind of feeling around my own way, and basically the same thing, but there's this real subtle change right here. So yeah, once I got this down, the next thing I would have done would have been the drums, and then probably replace that guitar again and kind of play to the drums. Well, let's jump into the drums for a second, and I'll kind of show you. I mean, there's only these few mics. There's a few takes that I did, but they're all basically the same feel. This is my brother Jamie Decato's his Radio King kit. I think it was his first drum set he ever had, and it's like this old, they're like from the 40s or something. They're really cool, big giant 26-inch kick drum. And so let's chunk through these a little bit and kind of show you what they sound like on their own, maybe. Bumbling. So here's the kick drum. It's a D112 in the front. In the front of the kick, there's no hole in the head. I think there's like a pillowy thing in there that's kind of meant to be in there, not necessarily a pillow. Kind of deadens it a little. But there's a ton of EQ on this. If I turn this thing off, that's really what that drum sounds like in the front. So I'm sucking a whole bunch of, 180, 200, whatever out of it. with this thing, some little compression. And what was really cool about the drum is, it does a lot of ring, but with the expander, you can kind of suck some of that ring out. And I was surprised how well that the drum worked in this kind of rocky kind of world kind of thing. One of the things I did is there's this mic over the top of the kind of aiming down at the beater pedal, actually at the kick pedal, and it kind of hears a lot of snare and stuff too. Let's listen to that one. This is that one by itself. And again, same thing with the EQ, sucking a ton of 200K out of it. This is what it sounds like without the EQ and compression. Actually sounds better with it with the EQ off. But when you add them together, there's actually a lot of that in there. Sometimes I didn't use that much of that mic. But yeah, there's a ton of the drum sound is coming from that mic over the top of the kick. If I add all the drums in, start from the top again, and leave that guy out, a huge part of the drum sound is that a lot of the sizzle and the attack of the kick drum is coming from that mic. There's also this kit compressor, which is going into the red here, which is a parallel compressor. You can mute that. There's a lot of sound coming out of that too. Here it is back in. Adding some crunch and some girth to it. Yeah, so that's the drums. I'm not sure what else to show you. It's just I kind of do them the way that I do them, and it comes out the way it comes out. It's that kind of thing. The next thing I would have done after replacing that acoustic again would be these electrics, and there's his fuzz guitar I replaced with 3, and I'm sure they're the Electra through my little Univox. With a big delay on them. There's that one, and then this one. And then there's this high one. This guy here, which is kind of, I don't think it's capoed because I'm hearing it that open A, but just kind of playing the chords up an inversion way up. Kind of doing that high string thing that I like to do, like that Nashville tuning, but just with an electric. Makes these big chords here. Just kind of makes it 10 stories tall kind of sounding. That's what I like about that high guitar with the electrics. Getting into this next chorusy bit here. A little bit wide tuning there, maybe. Yeah, and then the next thing would have been the bass, which is, there it is. Yeah, nothing special. I'm sure that it's just it's plugged directly in, just DI'd in. I think there's some crunch on it from this this saturation thing, fuzzing it out a little bit. Oh man, it's really fuzzy. There it is without that. Yeah, that's really farting it up. That's cool. I like that thing though. I actually use that plug on vocals a lot. I'm probably using it up here. Let's jump into some vocals. And yeah, see, I am. It's right there. So there's some of that on his vocal right here. This is probably going to be like really drenched in reverb and stuff, but
we all live in evil times.
Yeah, so let me mute that sucker so you can kind of hear.
We all live in evil times.
Here we go.
Take this message.
And that's with it in.
And pass it on down the line.
Just a little bit, adds a little edge to it. Can help.
We all live in evil times.
There's a few different, models or whatever you can kind of pick from and add, you can add some in. It just makes things cut a little bit better. And that's on everything. It's on all of these guys. So what was really cool was he kind of did, so that's like his main vocal, and then he did like all these different kind of characters.
We all live in evil times.
They're different notes, but they're different, almost kind of like different characters. I like it.
We all live in evil times.
Listen how crunchy that one is. Let's get rid of this thing on this one.
We all live in evil times.
Yeah, this guy's really gritted up. Listen to it again with that on.
We all live.
Sounds like it's through a rat pedal,
time.
And then Justin did some vocals.
We all live in evil times.
And I think I even did one.
We all live.
Whoops. Here, now I'm bumbling. This one, I think this is...
We all live in evil times.
Yeah, so that's Eric and I kind of doing the same note. So when all those together, you get this.
We all live in evil times.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like this big stack of... Let's get this acoustic back on.
We all live in evil times.
Or this guy.
Take this message and pass it on down the line. We all live in evil times.
Yeah, so that's cool sounding. Then was the steel, I guess, was the last kind of thing to try to, as a hooky kind of guitar. And let's get rid of these guys for now. And I did I have a blast doing these. So there's like 100 takes, well, there's not 100, there's 6 or 7. But what's fun, I just, have a good time. Kind of one day I'll try this, and another day I'll try that. Let's see what the purple one sounds like. Let's do that. Try that again. Kind of fishing around. What's the pink one sound like? Oh, yeah, this is pink. What's the next color? Oh, this one's red. Oops. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I'm just having a good time, just kind of jamming. Let's listen to the intro of this one. It's so much fun to play that lap steel. I just have a ball. And I'm not that great at it, so I just kind of, I'm winging it, and do a pile of them. And what's this one like? So that's the one. See? So there's this way that you can look at, like this track. You look at playlists. And that shows you all the colors. And you can kind of see what all the different ones all at once. And then when you comp things together, you end up with this. It's kind of color coded in a weird way. Anyways, so there's a lot of editing goes down, finding, you play a bunch of tracks and find the best bits, whatever. Piece of cake. So let's listen. Then the last thing is there's this vacuum, this little synthesizer thing that happens in the break. And let's turn the vocals on. Let's figure out what we're going to do for a mix. We'll listen from that break out. And with vocals, we'll listen to this little vacuum thing. And maybe the bass.
We all need more love.
Yes, indeed, we do.
We all need more love. When you think you had enough, we all need more love. We all live in evil times. We all live in evil times. Take this message and pass it on down the line. We all live in evil times.
Yes, we do. So there you have it. That's Evil Times by Eric Ott. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later.